Hey everybody, I'm back again and I'm gonna do a tutorial video. Yes, it's been a long time since I've done one of these on this channel. Probably been years, probably over 5 years, I think. But these seem to be the most popular videos on my channel, so I thought I would bring them back because I want to get more views and more subscribers. I've done so many pronunciation videos, and some of them do well, some of them don't, but I thought I'd go back to the classics on this channel and do another tutorial video, or do several more tutorial videos. Uh, this video, in this particular video, I will teach you how to format a screenplay in Microsoft Word. Now, I know a lot of screenwriters out there, or novice screenwriters. They don't have the professional screenwriting software like Final Draft. They have, basic word processing software like Microsoft Word. Or if you don't have Microsoft Word and you have another variation like Open Office, which is like an open source version of Microsoft Word, it's basically, I mean, it doesn't have as many features as Microsoft Word, but it's still a word processing program you can use to type up stuff. In this tutorial video, I'm going to be using Microsoft Word. However, you can really apply the same strategies from this video to other word processing programs when you're trying to format a screenplay in them. So, yeah, because most of this is just going to involve setting the margins, indentations, and things like that. So you can really take this and use it anywhere you want. It doesn't have to be Microsoft Word, but if you have Microsoft Word, it'll be much easier to follow along, of course. All right, let's begin. Okay, so you see here, this is a blank document. Nothing's been done yet. So first thing we want to do is change the margins. Now, in Microsoft Word, you go to Layout, Margins. Now you see it's already set to 1 inch, 1 inch, 1 inch, 1 inch on each side. That's the default. That's usually what people use when they're writing articles and essays or whatever. But for screenplay, we're not going to be keeping those dimensions because, or those margins, I should say, because if you've ever seen a screenplay before, if you've ever written a screenplay, the left margin is usually a half an inch wider than the other margins. So let me show you. Okay, so you click custom margins, and what you want to do is make the left margin 1.5 inches. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1.5 inches. Click OK. So now you see it's 1.5 inches from the edge of the paper. Every other side is still 1 inch, but this is 1.5 inches on the left. And the reason that's done is because of binding. You know, when you print out a screenplay and you give it to someone, or you send them the digital file and then they print it out, they may want to, or they'll most likely want to bind the pages together, right? Using like a special fastener, like a wire fastener. They punch holes through it and then they put a fastener through it. So what you need to do is leave extra space on the left side so they can put the fasteners in without getting it into the words. So you have 1.5 inches on the left side to make room for those fasteners. All right, pretty simple stuff. No big mystery there. Okay. Now, the next thing you want to do after you have 1.5 inches on this side is you need to set the font. So what you do is you go back to the home. What you'll want to do is actually before you change the font, like don't just go up here and change the font, because you need to make sure that it's going to affect the whole page, not just the spot where it's blinking, where the cursor's blinking. You want it to apply to the whole page. So what you have to do is hold down Control and then hit A, and see what happens. That selects everything on the page. So any setting that you apply will apply to everything that's highlighted, which is the whole page. So Control Alt to highlight everything, which in this case is nothing, but it's still going to apply to the whole page. Now you go to the font, options, and then what you want to do is find Courier New. Courier New. That's the font we use for screenwriting. Courier New, there. And now that's going to apply that font to the whole page. So anywhere that we type on the page is going to be in Courier New. Now, the reason why we use that font is because of something called monospacing. Monospacing. Now, a monospacing font, or monospaced font, I should say, is a font where every character takes up the same amount of space on the page. In other words, like, you know how certain letters are wider than others, like an M is wider than an F, right? Well, in screenwriting, it's important that every character it has equal width. Every character of every word has equal width. So that way it's easier to calculate every page as 1 minute of screen time, right? Because in screenwriting, it's usually one page equals 1 minute of screen time on film. And so to ensure that it stays consistent, you have the characters spaced out evenly, so it's more likely that page is going to stick to the 1 minute runtime on film. It's just a little fun fact for it. All right. Oh, and of course, 12-point font. Courier, it's usually on 12-point as default, but make sure, if it isn't, make sure you change that to 12-point with everything highlighted. So Courier New, 12-point font. And then once you do that, you can unhighlight it by just clicking in the page. Okay. Now, we come to the next step, which is typing. Well, I mean, I could show you how to do the title page and all that, but we don't have to worry about title pages right now. Let's just jump right into the screenplay elements. I think that's more important. I'll make another video about the title page later. I think I already made one in the past, but in this video, we'll just jump right into, you know, how to do the screenplay elements in Microsoft Word. So what we'll do is, let's say we want to do a scene, a slug line. You know, every scene starts with a slug line. I'm sure you know that. If you don't, well, there you go. I taught you something. So start with interior, which means inside. And let's say coffee shop. -day. Okay, so, you know, again, if you haven't seen this is a slug line if you haven't seen it before. So interior means inside of some place, and then this is the place, coffee shop. And then this is the time of day, you know, day, meaning daylight. If it was nighttime, you would do night. See, pretty self-explanatory, right? Although I'm not teaching you about slug lines in this video. This is more about formatting in Microsoft Word, so I'm not going to get too deep into the meanings of those things. But it's pretty self-explanatory. Also, yeah, I forgot to mention something. Do the highlight again, and because you want no spaces, no spacing. Because you see what happened here? When I hit enter, you see that there's like a little space between the cursor and interior. I mean, you could leave that, but it's not really. It doesn't really center it right. I think it's better to just highlight everything, no spacing. And now I've changed the font, of course, so you have to go back up here. Hold on. Go back up here, highlight everything again. Courier New, 12, okay, yeah. Yeah, okay, so now the spacing is better. Because you don't want that little bit of spacing between the next line and the top line. You want like a perfect, even space like this. You see? It's much better. So make sure, sorry, I forgot to mention that before. Yeah, so this is kind of, the steps are kind of out of line now. So let me run through that again, just in case you missed it. Highlight everything. No spacing. Courier New, 12-point font. Okay, there you go. All right, I think I settled that. Now, so we got that. Interior, coffee, shop, night. So what goes underneath that is the action lines. So let's just type some action. John sits alone at a small corner table. He stares at his phone. Okay, that's the action. That's describing what the character is doing in the coffee shop in that scene. Okay. So Next thing we will do is show dialogue. Now, we could have the action go on longer, but I'm not going to, there's no point. This is just an example. Obviously, if it were a real screenplay, you might want to have more action going on, but okay. He sits alone at the table, stares at his phone. So you hit enter twice to space it down because you don't want to have it here. That's not what you want to do. You want to have at least one full space, the height of the cursor between the last line and the next line. So there. So you want to have it like that. Now we're going to do dialogue. Now here's where it gets interesting. We need to show the character name first, as you might know. So what we have to do is center, and then we put John in all caps, and then hit enter. Now see here, we want to have no spacing. See, this is why we did no spacing before, because between the action lines, or between the action and the character name, we want to have that one space there. But when you do dialogue, you don't want to have spacing. That's why it's better to just set the no spacing for everything, I find. So you don't have, because it gets more complicated when you have to deal with the spacing issues in the dialogue area. I like to just have the no spacing set for that. So John, and now let's see. What's he gonna say? I can't believe she hasn't texted back. Okay. Okay, so yes, you want to have 1 inch from the ruler here, or the marker here, I should say. See, when we set it to 1.5 inches on this side, this is 1.5 inches from here to here. Okay, but for the left margin of the dialogue, you need to have it 2.5 inches from the edge of the paper. So since this margin is already 1.5 inches, you need to have another inch here. So we don't want to have I can't believe, when she going to text back. You see what happens there? Yeah, we can't have it that way. So because yeah, it's just, you don't do dialogue like this where it stretches to the other side of the screen. You have to make this about over here. So what you want to do is highlight this, and this bottom part here, see left indent, you want to click and hold and then drag it here. And now here, we want to have this be 1 inch from this ruler, or this marker here. So this should be over at the 5. So you want to, this is the right indent, and then you click and hold, drag to there. There. That's where you want it to be. This should probably be left as well. There. Left, a line left within those markers. So now you have 2.5 inches from the edge of the paper on the left side, left indent. And then on this, you have about 2 inches or so from the right marker on this side. That's pretty much where you want to keep it. I mean, it's not an exact science, how much you should space it, but this, I mean, in Microsoft Word, this should be acceptable. All right. Now, oh yeah, I forgot to mention parentheticals, which are optional, but parenthetical is what goes under the character name if you want to highlight what they are, like a specific way they are talking, like whispering, for example. So you put the cursor on the right side of the name, hit enter, and then you do like whispering, like that. I mean, you don't really need. I mean, you could put a italic for this, highlight it, Control I. You could do that. It might help like separate or highlight what it is to the reader. I mean, it's not really super required, but it might be helpful to the reader to do it that way. Okay, so now we have whispering. Again, parentheticals are optional, but if you want to emphasize that they're whispering or doing some kind of specific way of talking, then that's what you do. It's used sparingly, though. Like, don't get in the habit of using parentheticals too much to describe how dialogue is spoken. only when it's really necessary. But again, this isn't a video teaching about parentheticals, so I won't get too deep into that. Okay, so now let's talk about creating styles. Now, if you remember my past videos, hold on, let me get a drink of water. Throat's getting dry. All right. If you remember my past videos with Final Draft, you'll know that Final Draft like automatically sets styles for each screenplay element, right? So you have slug lines, action lines, character lines, parenthetical lines, dialogue lines, right? Now, obviously, Microsoft Word isn't going to automatically set those styles. So it's helpful that we set the styles ourselves in Microsoft Word because that'll make it easier to apply those same styles to the future action and dialogue and so forth. So we don't have to keep setting it ourselves and reformatting it and setting the indentations, all that stuff. We don't have to keep doing that over and over again if we set styles for the elements that we've already done. And because then we can just apply those styles to more elements that we keep writing. Let me show you. I don't know if I explained that right. let me show you. Okay, so basically what we want to do, let's say we want to set a style for the slug line so that Microsoft Word can identify future slug lines. So what we do, we highlight it, and then we go to this, click this. Oh, sorry, no, not that. Click this. See, this is the style box, in case you didn't know. Now we want to go to create new style here. Boom. And so we want to call this, you could call it scene heading or slug line. Just for the sake of argument, just for, educational purposes, I'll give it a more descriptive name that's easy to identify. Slug line there. I mean, you could call it scene heading if you want, but slug line. All right. Okay. See, we want to format each line properly, like a scene heading and dialogue and so forth. So anytime we want to format a particular element, we highlight it and then go up here and select the style. So for example, if I want to create another slug line, I go here, I just hit enter twice, and then I just go to slug line, and boom, see what happens? It goes right back here where I can do another slug line. Hold on. Shop night. You see? You don't have to worry about setting the font again and the indentation and so forth. It goes right back to where it was. So you don't have to worry about setting the font and the point size and indentation. All of that stuff is automatic because it's programmed into the style right here. See? It's very helpful. And then you just go down. So let's say I want to create more styles. So I highlight this because this is the action line style. So I would do the same thing. I'd go here, create style, and I'd say action. And that creates the action. So, because you see right now, I go back to this and it's on slug line. I want to go to action. And then there. I mean, there's not much of a difference between the settings for the slug line style and the settings for the action line style, because they pretty much have the same margins and same font and so forth. So it's not really that big a deal, but it helps just to stay consistent and organized. You see, you click on this slug line, you click on this action. See, it just helps you know which is which in case you're getting confused along the way. Now, of course, if you're doing the dialogue and the parentheticals, then it comes in really handy. So let me see. I'll highlight this parenthetical. I'll create a style for that. Parenthetical. Not thinking clearly today. All right, parenthetical, right there. So I should have. Well, I mean, it doesn't matter. I was going to capitalize everything, but it doesn't matter. So, and then character name. create style, and then character. There. These are the basic elements. I mean, there are some here on like the right side you can do to give different commands for different scene changes, like cut tos and stuff. We're not going to deal with those right now. Slug line, action, character, parenthetical, dialogue. Those are the main ones you need to worry about. I mean, there's more. Again, there's more screenplay elements, but you don't have to worry about those right now. If you want to add them later, just follow the same process that I'm teaching you here. Okay, so slug line, action, character, parenthetical. See how it changes the style? So anytime you want to, you type something new and you want to set the style or the screenplay element, you just make sure action. Now let's say I wanted to make this a character name. I would do this. And I'd say Deborah. And then I hit enter. So it's still on character because I want to make it parenthetical, not character. So I would do it here. And now see how it changes to italic? It's automatic, so whispering. And hit enter again. Now we want to change it to dialogue now, so you go dialogue. And see? The cursor goes all the way to the dialogue left margin. Right here. So you can just start typing. I don't know. That's it. And then hit enter twice, or whatever. And then you can go back to action again. And see? Cursor goes over here. Alright, so you get the idea. I mean, I could go on, but I think you get the basic concept. This is the general idea of how you format a screenplay in Microsoft Word. Just follow those examples of it. Setting the margins and the indentations, centering the character name, parenthetical, and dialogue. Setting styles for them, so you don't have to keep setting the margins every time you write something new. You can just highlight it and click the style to set those margins automatically. All right, so I hope you understand this. I don't know if you noticed this, but I had some technical difficulties during this recording. Like my screen capture software kept freezing, so I had to make multiple video clips of this, and now I have to edit them together because the one long clip ended up freezing, so I have to go back and cut out the frozen part and then edit the new parts together. I gotta find some new screen capture software. This cannot happen again. But hopefully I'll be able to edit this together into a nice coherent tutorial video. I think you guys got the basic concept of what I was trying to explain. I'm sure once I piece it together, it'll sound, the details will sound normal and make sense. I just hope my editing skills are still good. Right now, this is probably going to be like a 25-minute video, like one of the longest videos I've had on this channel in a long time. Certainly beats those 30-second pronunciation videos, right? So I'm giving you all of this extra quality for free. Isn't that nice? Anyway, let me wrap this up now. This screen capturing stuff is just stressing me out. I don't want it to freeze again. All right. So subscribe, and I will see you on the next one. All right.